to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty
and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Day is there. We often a motion for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
With the exception of
Oh.
the minutes for the August 20th meeting.
The minutes are not provided.
Yes, sir, correct.
Okay, gotcha. Yes. Move to approve the agenda minus the minutes.
Okay, I second. You vote.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Thank you, sir. Ms. Cushenberry, any public comments?
No, sir.
Okay, moving right along. Okay, Ms. Harding, and there you are.
You're right, I moved up to the.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
So-
to two of you.
This is probably the fourth time that Dan Ryback with the town of Bluffton has been here, so we're continuing our efforts towards improvement for us. It's the back MC Riley parking lot, but they're working on street improvements along Pritchard Street. And with that, I will hand it over to you.
All right. I did have a PowerPoint presentation. I don't know if you have.
She's bringing it up right now.
there. Okay, very good.
Hello, Linda.
So, up here to discuss, my name is Dan Ryback, with the town of Bluffton. Thank you all for having me and giving me an opportunity to present, to you and the project status. As Robert had mentioned, we have been in, working coordination since the beginning of the project. That probably spans back to, probably spring of 2022. At that time, the town was planning on doing a project, to, improve the drainage conditions along Pritchard Street in the town of Bluffton. The parking lot in that area at MC Riley also had some conditions, that needed improvement as well, not only in terms of the condition of the parking lot, but also a lack of positive drainage within the area. And so the town proposed the project, actually got a 319 grant for water quality improvements associated with the project. We got a letter of support from the school district on that. And where we stand today is we're at a 100% design. We're working on final permit acquisitions, final approvals are in process. We've identified easement acquisition needs associated with the project, and they are being coordinated. We're going to talk about a little bit about that. The town is going to be holding a public meeting for immediate stakeholders and property owners in the area and anybody of interest concerning the project, and that's currently scheduled for mid-October. Right now, the anticipated project bid date is going to be February 25. The anticipated construction start is April 2025, and the anticipated completion would be around October 2025. School district items related to the proposed project work, coordination of the proposed construction and MC Riley school operations is needed. The easement needs from the school district need to be finalized, approved, and reported. The school parking lot improvements, right now with regards to the parking lot, we would be performing demolition of the existing pavement, subgrade rehabilitation, repaving, identifying and marking designated parking areas with stripings and markings, wheel stops, and signage. Associated with those improvements at the parking lot, we are hoping to enter into a cost share agreement that needs to be drafted, finalized, and executed between the town and school district. Next, please. This slide sort of gives just quickly a couple overview of the drainage conditions that are in the area. Also gives you an idea in terms of the picture in the upper right-hand corner in terms of the condition of the parking lot. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll be able to see a little bit more. There you go. So there's some more. You can see that's the entrance to the parking lot there at the bottom left after a storm event. So water basically has nowhere to go at the current state. So we're going to be improving that condition as part of our work. And then you can see also in the bottom right the pothole that currently exists in the parking lot area there.
And if I can real quick, it doesn't take a lot of rain for that to happen.
Correct.
It's not like that's a tropical storm. That's just an everyday shower and you get that.
Then stays there for a while until it evaporates away. Next slide, please. Thank you. So, to the left there, you could scroll up just a little bit. That's just a general project area. You, of course, NC Raleigh school property is there, and the town hall, the town hall building is to the lower left and just adjacent to the project area. The shot on the right is pretty much the limits of the project. The limits of the project pretty much go all the way the entire length of Pritchard Street, which spans from Bridge Street to the south and then to the north Ruin Road. So that's where the project limits are. Next, please. So here I have some exhibits and information just in terms of what the proposed improvements are. Here in the purple, that's basically representing the road improvements that would be taking place within that entire span from Bridge Street to Bruin, where we will mill the existing pavement and then put an overlay pavement up and down the entire road. The light blue here represents proposed pedestrian improvements in terms of pedestrian connectivity. That includes crosswalks and new sidewalk in locations where there currently is none. And the red markings are, of course, crosswalks. And you can see a little glimpse. I have another slide showing the entire parking lot, but you can see a little bit of the proposed improvements in the parking area. The yellow, the yellow also represents improvements associated with the roadway. We have currently 3 traffic calming devices, speed humps, I'll call them. They're going to not be the, the dramatic kind of speed hump, but it's going to be more of a gentle speed hump just in terms of trying to slow down traffic that goes up and down Pritchard Street.
Call it a speed table.
What's that?
Speed table?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
So one is a speed hump, one of the other two?
Speed table. Oh, they're all going to, there's 3 proposed and there's a speed table.
Okay. All right.
Next, please. Thank you. Here's a picture of the entire parking lot. So basically within the parking area, you can see right now, I mean, just in terms of the parking lot condition, there is no striping that's in the parking lot. It's sort of like haphazard parking. This is going to be, this will provide a more defined and area for parking. Right now it's proposed to be one way in and one way out. So you'll enter from the left-hand side as currently shown on the screen and come around to the right-hand side for exiting. Inside the green, dark green area in the parking lot, that's represented to be an infiltration basin, which is a water quality device. We did geotechnical testing prior to part of the design, and the infiltration rates of the existing soils are excellent, anywhere up to 14 to 22 inches per hour. So that's excellent for.
You have one of those don't you have those at Whale Branch as well? Yeah.
High school.
High school.
Not,
And when you're driving around, I thought that looked.
I guess, yeah, you could call that similar, yes.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the area with regards to the parking lot improvements and, on the striping, the paving, and then also the BMP and the water quality component associated. Next, please. Okay, here as we move north of the parking area now, you can see the pool house there. You can see the light blue, which is going to be sidewalks that are proposed. Speed table just north of the MC Raleigh Early Learning Center entrance there is currently proposed along with a crosswalk across that way. And then sidewalk goes on the east side of the street, which is on the lower side of the screen, the light blue. That's a new sidewalk. And then the sidewalk that's on the west side of the road at the top, that's an existing sidewalk that will be redone. Next, please. Thank you. And then here we're just continuing to the north up Pritchard Street. We're now entering to the area where Tabby Road's to be development is, and we're basically extending our sidewalk to meet and adjoin with their existing sidewalk on the east side of the street, crosswalks, and connectivity going all the way up to Bruin Road. One thing that I failed to mention so far right now, I mean, the other component of the project, you can see it here on this side, but pretty much up and down, up the entire length. Predominantly on the east side of the road, we're proposing to put street lights as well. So there's going to be some street lights included as part of the project here. All right. Okay, so with regards to the school district, the proposed work requires some easement acquisitions for the improvements that we talked about. We got two areas basically. There's two school district parcels that are associated within the work area, pretty much MC Riley. The easements there would be temporary for construction, and that would be for the installation of the sidewalk areas, the street lights and so forth. So the temporary easements are proposed and identified. Within the parking area, also a temporary construction easement is proposed just in terms of doing the repaving work and the parking lot work. We're in discussions with the school district just in terms of the water quality device, the infiltration basin. That can be a permanent easement or with a drainage easement in which the town would maintain, or we have the option where it's a temporary easement and the school district maintains. So we're working our way through that on what the desire for that would be. Okay, well, just one second. And then a little bit to the right at the entrance to MC Riley Early Childhood Learning Center. That's a temporary easement for the crosswalk and the sidewalk improvements in that area. And so that's basically the two areas of easement needs for the project that impact the school district. So once we finalize the actual areas and types of easements that we need, we'll coordinate that with the school district. We'll prepare the necessary paperwork to get those easements signed off on, approved, and then ultimately recorded.
Okay.
Next, all right. So we're talking with regards to the pool and the school parking lot cost share agreement. So right now it's intended really in terms of the cost share agreement, cost is just for the work related to redoing the parking lot, making that usable and in a better parking better parking situation. So an MOU and cost share agreement would need to be drafted and approved by the school district. All the draft of that agreement would be based on an estimated cost. It's envisioned that the work would be performed, the town would pay for, and then the reimbursement of that cost, that approved cost, would then be requested from the school district after construction and completion. Right now, the 100% design cost estimated cost for the parking lot improvements is with 15% contingency is $280,000 and some dollars. So that's preliminary. That's also budget estimating. I would expect that the actual bid price would come in lower, but for planning purposes and budgeting purposes, that's where we stand right now, just in terms of the 100% cost estimate. Next, please. And finally, at the end of the presentation, any questions and discussion?
We will ask Mr. Nay and then Ms. Gordon.
Okay.
Mr. Nay, any questions, sir?
No, not at this time. So yeah, I don't have any at this time yet. I'll let Ms. Gordon go. I'm mulling something over.
Oh, thank you for asking. Sorry I came in a little late here, but just listening from what I'm hearing, I don't have any questions. Look this over. Thank you.
Mr. Campbell? No, I don't have any. Okay. This is a report out to us. Is anything needed from us today?
Just an update, yes, sir. So we wanted to give you an update and let you know where we were. I met with Robert earlier this month. He told me at that meeting, he said it'd be a good time to come in and give us an update. And so here I am. And So we're getting close, so, February or so, we're hoping to bid it, and so personally, in terms of my end, I got a lot of work to do to get it there, just in terms of the music stuff, getting that finalized and getting it.
Okay. All right, Mr. Nady, have you developed a question, sir, or do you want us to move on?
No, I'm just trying to manage all, I don't know, it's. Did the city come to us and say, hey, we want to do all this stuff for you? Or did we go to them and ask for them to do this?
So the city came to us and said they had a plan for improving Pritchard Street, and we'd like to, and actually, I guess it was hard for y'all to improve Pritchard Street without improving the drainage in the MC Riley parking lot, because flooding from the parking lot kind of goes over into the street. And they kind of came to us, said, as we're improving the street, we'd like to improve your parking lot at the same time. And so that's kind of how it started. And they asked for our support in their efforts to get a grant to do all your design work and things like that. So the operations committee back then did approve, our signing off on the grant, I guess. And so that's kind of how it got started.
Okay.
There's one thing. Go ahead.
So the cost share memo of understanding, a memorandum of understanding, are you asking us to pay for 100% of it or just for the parking lot?
The cost would only be for the items associated with the parking lot reconstruction.
Okay. All right. I guess I misunderstood then. Thank you for clarifying. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nady.
If I can, just one thing, just so you know that part of the FY 26, which will be summer 2025 work projects and 8%. There is funding for this, and as of right now, they're within budgets.
Superb.
With the funding we have available.
Well, we enjoy working with you.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it
Look forward to
too.
more collaboration.
We consider you a very important project partner.
Likewise, there's reciprocity in it.
Thank you.
Liz, can we get more? What was that?
It doesn't work along with that, along with sharing,
Well, if it's independent, I think.
right, they would have to do it and then they can do it on their own.
Yeah, can we?
Just thinking about it as we're talking.
They would have to. Yes.
Okay. All right, next up is the construction update.
All right, well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to give you a construction update for September 2024. I will run you through some high-level items that pertain to the 2019 referendum, 2023 referendum, as well as some of the 8% projects we got going on. On the 2019 bond referendum, I do want to let you guys know that right now projects are being shown with a green light for budget and schedule. Over at Robert Smalls Leadership Academy, we have finally received the substantial completion from J.E. Dunn. That was achieved on August 23rd, 2024. And right now we are working with J.E. Dunn to get them to the finish line so we can do the full project closeout.
Mr. Vargas, if I recall correctly, was there a committed date, August 29th?
But the original committed date,
The one where you got back to them and then they said, I thought maybe it was 23rd, they sent something out.
no, they kept extending the date. So the original date was April, and actually I don't remember the exact date, but it was in April.
Mhm.
So they kept saying that they would be done, it kept changing every month. So obviously until that point, we kept tracking the liquidated damages that were assigned to that time frame. And right now, what we received finally from the state is a substantial completion date of August 23rd.
Okay.
So from there, that's what we're gonna mark up on all liquidated damages, that's what we'll calculate, and then we'll continue to work with the group to see, or to work on enforcing the liquidated damages for the project.
What was the root cause of them being tardy? How we gonna fix it, how they gonna fix it?
So the original, from what happened over there is during phase 2, when they were doing the site restoration, they had committed to doing some of the site work. There were issues with trying to get the site contractor to come in and just come in on time. They wanted to be given the site all at once. instead of just getting a head start, they overcompensated for that. And unfortunately, when they got their head start and they started doing work, they started getting a lot of issues on sides, finding things that were not working to their favor, issues with labor shortages. So all those things blended together really kind of became the perfect storm. So it was really an oversight on the contractor side. Like we said, I think we had given them the chance to start earlier and they thought that they weren't able to just accomplish everything all at once instead of starting to get the work done bit by bit, which probably would have helped them accomplish their schedule as they had originally anticipated.
And just for consideration, if there's comfort that they have internally corrected those challenges.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and actually, there's two, the demolition took a little longer than they expected.
No, you're
Oh, I mean, the demolition took a little longer than they expected. And yes, they struggled with their site. So they've committed to us that they do not plan on using that site contractor again.
Any more questions? Yes.
With the delays that were encumbered by this particular site company, did we impose any penalties to them?
So that's what the liquidated damages were. It was $750 a day. I think by now, I don't know the exact figure, but it's ranging between 70 to 80 grand. Yeah, liquidated damages. Mhm. All right, moving along on the 2019 referendum, we are showing 30 project closeouts remaining. On the 2019 referendum financial summary, we have completed a total of 200 financial commitments to date. The 2019 bond referendum financial update, as the figures for our financials as of the end of August. We are currently still reporting the budget with a green traffic light. The current budget is $375,710,000. Now paid and committed funds total is $374.1 million. The remaining available funds, including the contingency, total $1.6 million for the referendum, 2019 referendum. The contingency activity for August 2024 included the savings of $100,000 and the use of $38,317. As of the end of August, the contingency remaining is $184,335, and our current analysis are still showing that we're going to come in within budget. So we'll still have that soft planning for the referendum program.
Can I, Mr. Nay, any questions from you, sir?
No, the pre-read was pretty thorough.
Okay, Ms. Gordon?
No, I'm fine.
Mr. Dallas?
Yeah, then I have one.
Yes.
Going back to the closeouts.
Yeah.
If we look at sort of affinity grouping in terms of root cause analysis, Allied Universal has 10 of the 30. That's 33% of the ones that are delinquent. And if you can address those.
So I will give you an update because we had a discussion with the clock about this on our previous clock meeting on September 11th. And Allied Universal, they were, when we initially did this program, they were selected as the sole vendor to do this installs. They fell short with labor. They've fallen short on schedules. We had issues with PA Intercom in the past, and we had implemented a process where we were meeting on a weekly, bi-weekly basis with Dr. Rodriguez, PMs, IT. And we were trying to work through our issues to try to get them to the finish line. Hey, how do we tackle these issues? We had Stagefront, our sub-consultant, through Turner & Townsend's hearing to address, or to basically monitor what's going on site and try to give recommendations to the subs on how to finish. That became successful on the PA Intercom side. We are finally coming out of the end of those projects. Now, what we're doing is we're trying to implement the same approach with the Allied Universal, which is your security cameras, access controls, and your intrusion alarm. Granted that I do want to say that the current systems that are in the schools are still active, so the cameras as they were existing are still functional. Granted, but I do understand that some of the schools don't have full capability because some of the cameras have gone down through the years, lack of maintenance. So we're trying to work and try to expedite. What we have done is we've given this contractor a list of priorities. So the way that we prioritize the schools is if a school before the start of the school year had systems that would compromise the security of the staff and the students, we needed those guys to get to those schools as soon as possible. So they have done that. They have addressed the schools that have the immediate needs to get those systems operational. And as of today, we were working with them. We got an update. So we're actually meeting with them on a weekly basis. But last week, because of these issues, we have sat with them on a daily basis to try to let them know, hey, this is what we need from you guys to get moving. If you guys are not doing the work, contractors are starting to supplement. So we are bringing crews from all over the region. Actually, the last I heard today, we got guys from North Carolina, we got guys from Florida, we got guys coming from Georgia, and I just heard of the latest crews actually coming out of California. They're just trying to help us expedite, because I told them, I'm like, guys, we can't wait until the end of the year to finish this. This has to finish right now. So we have 10 projects that should become, are getting to the actual financial and to document closeout. We got to do some trainings, but basically those systems are complete. And then we have the remaining project closeouts of 30 other schools that we're trying to get them to wrap up by the end of October, so that we can just get to the actual closeout of the 2019 bond referendum. So we are working with our CMs. They've sent out notices. Some of the guys, like I said, it's just supplementing them to try to get more labor to get the work done. So we have seen a drastic change in the labor force, and we're actually starting to see the projects move towards the finish line quicker. But before, I think we only had 2 crews on site, and they were struggling with the labor shortages. But
Who's
after
got the crews? Us or them?
is the construction managers. Construction managers, because that's who the contract is through, and they're the ones that supervise the contractor. Obviously, the contractor has a superintendent on site. But like I said, for a while they were struggling, and I think through conversations with their executives, we told them that this is an urgency to get this done before trying to get to more drastic measures with them, contractual measures. So I think that kind of rose the level of urgency to get the projects done.
So are they open, are they under the penalty of $750 a day?
No, because we didn't have the same,
Agreements.
yeah, we didn't have like solid deadlines of completion. You know, because they're doing multiple all over the place, we didn't have set dates.
So that's,
Yes, so the way where he was going with, we were going to supplement their work. We'll kind of take the work away from them and give it away if they didn't complete it, so that was what we did.
that could tie your group. If you bring it in-house.
No. So when we're saying supplementing, what I meant is the contractors are hiring other vendors
Other contractors.
that are still certified to do these installations to expedite the work. And our current agreement with them is this work has to get done at no cost to the district.
Okay.
So everybody's on the same page on that. We're just trying to get this work done, but it doesn't relate to us managing that at all. We're still managing our CMs, but the CMs are really in full sight of what the construction activities are on the field.
Then are we advanced enough in having these types of installations that we now feel comfortable setting end dates for installation?
We are waiting, we have requested a schedule. I'm expecting to get something tomorrow from the executives from Allied Universal. I have a preliminary schedule that has set dates for half of the school locations. The other half, what they have told us is they're just waiting to get the final commitment from their subs so they can put an actual date as to when they'll finish. So once that happens, we can do a follow-up and just let everybody know, hey, this is what we're expecting for these schedules.
Do their subs have 2 dates for submission?
We gave them a deadline.
You gave,
We gave them a deadline that we need to have the schedules, I told them like, tomorrow, we need to have something that we can all have tangible, just set them.
Okay. Just trying to help out.
No, I understand.
It's
It's,
a tight timeline, they measure to execution.
oh,
All right, well done, thank you.
no, you got it. Any more questions on?
Ms. Gordon?
I was listening about this particular piece where we don't have definitive deadlines and penalties imposed in case they don't meet. And we've got, what is it, 30 schools? That,
30.
About 30 schools that fall under this umbrella of not having what we need for them to have in terms of security, right? Secure monitors or whatever they need. So now what is the date that we have given this company to have this done? And will we impose a penalty if they don't? Because I understand we have a shortage of workers and things of this nature. But we're also talking about, safety of our staff and our kids. So, telling them, hey, I need this done tomorrow is one thing. But putting it in writing that if you don't, we definitely gonna go with someone else. Or, because that's gonna delay you getting somebody else to do this, so you're still in the same, same position. So I don't see where we're getting any bang for the buck to get this done, quality, you want the quality there. Okay. But we're dealing with the same companies. This isn't a new company, is it? Is this the same, one of the same companies we deal with all the time?
Yeah, it's the same contractor that does the maintenance with the
So,
cameras.
so if he's not delivering, why are we still dealing with him?
Well, right now, the way, and I don't know if you wanna add to that or.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, right now, just because the way that the contracts are set up, we were tied to use this contractor. We have told them that we need to have this work done by the end of October. We will put something in writing once we get those schedules to get them to commit. Once they give us that schedule, that's our final commitment from them. If they miss those deadlines, then the contractor, we told them they have to, whatever it takes, if those guys are not delivering, they have to figure out how to make that deadline that we give.
But shouldn't that deadline have been worked out before you gave the guys the work to do?
Well,
That's a good point. Yes, we,
I'm saying if I'm doing something for you, I'm working, I don't have a deadline, I don't have concrete timelines. Then you're gonna get what you're gonna get from me when I get it to you. With the same excuse, I don't have enough workers, I don't have this or that. I just think we need to do better.
no, I agree.
And make sure that these vendors, these guys, that contractors have a contract. Because we're giving them hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. This ain't no 2-cent project.
that's understood, Ms. Thorne.
I think we're making excuses for them, really, to be honest. Especially when this is a company that we've been dealing with. It's not a new company for you.
No.
And so they know what your expectations are. So now we are in a position where, I don't know about you, but I'm worried, until the end of October, if our schools are gonna be safe.
Well, if I can on that, these are the cameras, and so we're not taking the old cameras offline.
This is its our operation.
Yeah, all the old cameras are operational until the new cameras are done. So they have the old cameras in place until the new. That's not making, your point's well made. We should have set deadline basically early on. Well, I'm not going to, it is a lesson learned out of this from a contractor of this site, of this type. And, some of the things we learned and we tried to do too much too fast. These were safety, security, and everybody wanted us to get started and move, so we moved. We should have done some pilots so we could figure out the timing and all that, and then set schedules, which is how we're doing this 2023 referendum. We're starting slower, we're doing pilot projects, so that we get a better handle on what's needed to get this work done. And so we'll be in better shape moving forward. It's been frustrating to all of us. This contractor is one that, it's kind of like the more you beat them over the head, the less they pay attention. They did not care. They were a contractor, just so they aren't even giving us bills. So we can't even hold money back because they're not even asking for money. So, it's very frustrating. They're $1 billion company and we're a small, minute part of their revenue. So even though we're paying millions of dollars, we're too small a fish in their pool. And it's extremely frustrating. Is that a good summation? Or?
That's correct, and I mean, I did want to add that. Add what you said about the 2023, because we learned from all these mistakes, say you can't just have one guy get pulled of work.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna lead us to the same situation, so we've started the pilot programs for new safety security projects. Just to learn from what we're doing there, what mistakes are we gonna encounter as we do these projects, so that we can refine at the end of the process what our spec and our guidelines are gonna be, so that we can go out there and just tell everybody how it should be done, because I think when we started this, there was a sense of urgency to just get the work done. And we were kind of like you say, changing the wheel. Yeah.
We were building the airplane as we were going down that road.
Yes. So it was,
Yeah.
yeah, so
And if I could just add real briefly, to your point, Mr. Gordon, without those dates, the subcontractor was, I'll give it to you when I give it to you. And we were receiving that type of information, and to the point of the team said that's unacceptable. We need you to pull this back. October is the drop dead. If we need to supplement your workforce, we're going to supplement your workforce and take it away from you through the CM hiring another equal firm to execute that work so it gets done in a more expeditious fashion. And we have each year done these lessons learned, and coming away from that, these contracts that we have executed for probably more than 12 months, maybe even as long as 18 months, we have put that extra detail in there for each of our agreements so that it isn't one of these open-ended. We want to know that you'll finish by this date right here. And our major projects have that, but we've done that now on a smaller scale. And you heard Robert talk a little bit about the pilots. We're using pilots for a lot of these 2023 bond referendum, safety security. So we have a better feel that as we do those remaining portions under the new program, that by doing these first pilots, we learn what worked well, what needed refinement, now refine it, now go release packages to multiple firms so that that work gets executed much better than what we saw this past referendum.
I just think we can do better.
Oh, I agree with you, and I was gonna
From the
say,
startup.
if you see anything come your way when it comes to any contracts going forward, every one of those contracts has a commitment of timeframes. They have the liquidated damages of which were increased. This is why I know Colonel Geyer actually basically beat us over the head about this, and we changed our agreements to include that information in the agreements, the penalties. So everybody's been made aware, and all the CMs know that they are being held to the substantial completion date that they give us, that there are liquidated damages involved with that. So I think that now that we have learned from that, going forward, we've gotten a better response as to the sense of urgency that we need to get these projects done, whether it's safety security, or if it's just a regular improvement in the school where you're gonna do restroom renovation, lighting improvements, so. We will update you guys in the next round, see how, once we get those schedules, give you a better idea of what it is that we're being shown. But again, we are working with them because we know the sense of urgency that it's taken.
Yeah, Mr. Nay, any questions or comments from you, sir?
No, thank you.
An old adage, is that in business, we don't get what we expect, we get what we accept. Think about that. So, just imbue that, and, if they're not listening to us.
Because we're not big enough.
Yeah. So, if we're too small for you to listen, we're too small to pay you and employ you.
Well, that's actually what we told them, that I think that they're risking losing, if anything, I think Mark Johan has an agreement that we shouldn't really be working with these guys going forward. Considering that they actually have maintenance agreements.
Well, I defer to you, sounds like everybody has a solution, but
Yeah.
again, operation, you get not what you expect, because if you expect it, it doesn't happen and nothing, you do nothing, then they're gonna say, oh, there's no penalty. But if you do it, then there's a penalty. And we're not trying to be persecutory, We're just saying.
No.
Okay. And thank you for all you do. All right, please proceed.
All right, moving on, the 2023 bond referendum updates, those are slides 30 through 50. All the monthly projects as of the end of August are reporting a green traffic light for the budget schedule. May River Elementary School, I am glad to let you guys know that we're actually just working through some final details before we work out the guaranteed maximum price from Thompson Turner. So we are expecting that this will go to the board in October. We were right now thinking maybe the first or maybe the second board meeting, just depending on how much we gotta tweak to make sure that it's ready for presentation to the board. The new early learning center in Bluffton, the program discussions are complete, and right now the team is working to get some bubble diagrams to finalize some of the program and move on to the schematic design. So we will be moving forward with some of the schematics. The only thing that I did here is that we're just waiting on receiving the site survey from the civil engineer so that we know what conditions we are working there when it comes to wetlands, soils, to make sure that we're doing the appropriate design for the facility. May River High School, the CTE and JROTC, we are going to conduct a cost review tomorrow. And following that, we are gonna move into the creation of the GMP so that we can get this before you guys in October 2024 for approval. Hilton Head Island High School, right now the work is progressing for phase one that we've driven by it. They're doing a lot of site work, doing foundations, so work is moving as scheduled. Phase two, phase three, and phase four. For the high school, we are working with the design team to finalize the design development. That should come towards the end of the month. We'll have a review with IT before we move to the CDs. And there will be a review of the CDs in November. So the plan is to have a GMP on hand by the beginning of next year, so that we can put the rest of the school on top. Ladies on Middle School, the new facility. We have held some community input meetings on August 17th. We had some turnout from the community of St. Helena, Ladies Island, as well as Coosa. There were also some meetings with the SIC and the staff to get some of their feedback. That was successful, and right now the team is just working to get the programming finalized before they proceed with receiving their surveys and moving to the schematic designs.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So this Ladies Island Middle School meeting was a second iteration of a prior one? And so,
Yes.
right, yes, how was the turnout for this number of?
It was great. I mean, the SIC meeting, well, I didn't, just the day before, they also had a staff meeting. So they met with the staff the day before, and I wasn't present for that. I mean, I assume it had pretty high turnout. The SIC meeting probably had 15 or so people, I'd say, for that, and very involved. We actually started the meeting at 6, and we kind of had to kick everybody out at 8. So they were talking, and kind of an interesting thing there, the people there, I think 12 of them had either gone to school there or had taught there. I mean, people had long histories with Ladies Island Middle, so that was a very good crowd to have at that meeting.
So one of the things in that, oh, yes, ma'am.
How did you get that information out about the second meeting through the SIC?
So of course, it obviously went to the school, and we also did give it to Mr. Smith to give to the local churches. And we did have, I know, at least 2 members that came there that had heard through their church, and that's why they came.
Mr. Nate?
I got nothing. Thank you.
Anything else, Mr.?
I would just say for those people that came there, they were high energy. You may wanna sort of consider this. Not direction. If they would be willing to basically sign on as ambassadors, communication ambassadors into the community. And then you pull them together, because I think that's what Ms. Gordon, Mr. Campbell, and Mr. Smith were alluding to that day. And then you have a ready workforce anytime, and that gives them added credibility in the community. Right.
Yes.
All right.
And we will go back to that group and present the next, once we get to floor plans and things of that nature, we will we'll go back and show them what the conversations led to the design and how it led to the design.
To further just that point, is what Masani is saying. If you can basically have a trainer session with it. So that you are informing them how to take it out,
Yes.
what to say and what not to say. The critical errors we gotta avoid in terms of a minefield. And then you empower them. They come out and ask you, just consider it.
Yes.
Moving right along.
All right, so on the 2023 referendum financial updates, the financial figures as of the end of August, we are reporting budget with a green line. Current referendum budget is $439,035,000. Paid and committed funds total $104.9 million. The remaining available funds, including the contingency, total $334.05 million. There was no, or I was gonna say, to date, we still have not used any from contingency. That remains at $11.5 million. The original project level contingencies, though, now that we're reporting, I believe the request might have come through you, Mr. Dallas, and this committee. That the original project level contingencies total $17,060,756. The remaining project level contingencies as of the end of August total $60,704,561. All right, any questions regarding financials?
Mr. Nate?
None, thank you.
Ms. Gordon?
No, thank you.
Now, community outreach, as I touched base before, all we really had was the new Ladies Island middle school replacement. We've heard, so I was discussions with it was a discussions with the community for St. Helena, Ladies Island, Coosa. Yes.
Mr. Campbell, I apologize. I didn't ask you if you had any questions.
No, I didn't.
Sorry for that, sir.
Sorry, I was like, wait, did I say something wrong?
You've not said anything wrong with the meeting.
All right. All right, so I'm just gonna skip over community outreach as we're touching Ladies Island Middle. Now, request for proposals and request for qualifications, the RFP 25004 construction management at risk services for Ladies Island Middle School and the Early Childhood Center in Bluffton. We received the proposals on the 29th of August, and a selection committee has been put together to go over the submittals that were received. So we expect to get that selected soon as these folks meet. The RFQ 25003 for professional design services, civil site projects. The deadline was yesterday, September 18, 2024 at 4 p.m. We have received the submissions and those that committee is being put together. Once we get some more updates on the RFPs and RFQs, we will report to you. Any questions regarding the construction updates?
Mr. Campbell, I'll start with you, sir.
Sure.
Ms. Gordon? Mr. Nate?
No, thank you.
I just would like to say the gentleman that I call my Wolfpacker friend is in the back wall smiling like a proud papa over there as you're handling these questions. So kudos to you, okay? And please understand, we're just trying to help.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Good questions. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay. You're up, ma'am.
You got one
I have one more custodial updates.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Custodial and maintenance updates. And unfortunately, Brandy is not able to make it tonight, so I am a weak substitute, but I will do my best.
And we're gonna give her a report if you don't.
Yes, please do. So one of the, we're right now in transition between the two contracts. The new contract with our 3 new vendors begins October 1st. And they're scheduled to do their big load in, load out weekends on September 27th. So as of right now, we're basically T-7 work days until this switchover. So pressure's on, but I will report we have 3 of the 3 vendors. One is in excellent shape, can start tomorrow. The other one is going to be in good shape. The third one is needing some prodding to get things moving. So, and that's what we're doing to ensure that they have everything in place for October 1st.
Can you give us an idea of what areas they need the encouragement?
Well, it's just getting enough employees on, things of that nature, getting all the background checks done. They keep telling us that they have it under control and but we're not seeing it where some of the, and this is one reason we like to have the 3 contractors. One of the contractors is well underway, well moved in, has lots of employees already lined up. It's kind of like the mama bear, the papa bear, and the baby bear. And so the one's in great shape, one's in really good shape, and the other one has a lot of work to do in the next 7 days, I'd say. So
Keep us both.
yes, sir. And again, I'll reiterate, we cannot do what we're doing without the support of HES, our current contractor. They have done a great job helping us. Our buildings are in really good shape. They actually did a great job this summer. So I have to commend them for that. That being said, you'll see down here that for the month of August, there are a couple of shortcomings in staffing. You see that Beaufort Middle School and Mossy Oaks have dropped below our 80% level that we're measuring them by. Normally we'd give a violation for that, but with only 7 days left, they're holding on as best they can. It is difficult to hire staff when you're on your way out the door as well. But they're doing the best they can with that. And luckily, I'm not hearing a lot of complaints, not with anybody else is, about the current custodial conditions. Please let me know if they are, but getting really good reports. So like I said, HES, hats off to them. They're going out quite admirably, I would say. Any questions on custodial before I move on?
Mr. Nate,
Negative, thank you.
Ms. Gordon,
No,
Mr. Campbell.
report.
All right, so we'll go on to maintenance, which is the next page. Again, this is through the month of August, and these are our high incoming of work orders. And what this first chart shows are the numbers from June to July. You can see, and it's given you the total number of work orders submitted compared to the total number of work orders completed. So there on the left, you can see in the last 2 months, there's been just under 6,000 work orders submitted with a little over 3,000 work orders completed. So we are currently completing about 55% of the work orders. That is not uncommon for this time of year, just because as teachers come into the building and principals come into the building, they onslaught us with work orders, and it does take a little bit of time to work through them all to catch back up. The next chart down there shows the difference between PM and non-PM work order for the month of July and August. And you can see that big jump that happens there on the non-PM work orders in July when no one else is in the building, basically, or there's limited staff in the building. You have a little over 1,500, and you can see it almost doubled in August. So that's as people come into the building, they didn't submit a lot of work orders when they first come in. Of the maintenance initiated requests, that's the next chart. You're seeing a pretty consistent non-PM work order and PM work order. The last chart there on the bottom presented of maintenance initiated work orders. You can see in July, when there aren't as many people in the building, a lot of the work orders are being put in by maintenance themselves, which 40% of them. So that's something we really like to see. They are one of the few in the buildings at that time. And then August, of course, that drops down to 27 as other people come into the building. The next page, if you want to go on, Robin, this is your.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Is it possible to get a line graph that compares this month to that same month last year?
Yes, sir.
Because if we could get that visually, we could ascertain if things improving from year to year. And over time, the intent is we'll see it gradually. Month to month is always good, but that comparison. Thank you, sir. Ms. Gordon?
I agree with what you just said. Thank you.
Mr. Nate?
I have nothing, thank you.
Mr. Campbell?
The next page, when you start getting into the different crafts, you will not be surprised here. The two highest work order submittals are HVAC and plumbing. You'll see there that the highest HVAC was 654, was roughly about 18% of all the work orders. May River High School, which we've talked about before, has the highest number of HVAC work orders at 94, 14%. That is primarily due to communication issues with their wireless control system. That's where this summer we're looking to replace that with a wired system. I would like to make one correction here. You'll see there that we have a proposal of $327,000. That was a preliminary proposal just for the control work itself. The total proposal amount is actually $432,000, which includes electrical, general contractor and other fees as part of that. So I just wanted to make that clarification.
You said 432?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
$432,554. The next thing I would like, y'all have heard that we issued.
Yes, Mr. Nate?
Yes,
Sorry.
thank you. Mr. Audin, do we have any other HVAC systems that have this wireless system that that could possibly look forward to breaking down again and replacing with the wired system?
The only other school that has it is River Ridge Academy. It has some of the same issues. It's just not had the problems near as bad as May River. I think part of that has to do with the multi-floor construction of May River and the size of May River. River Ridge does have problems every now and then. It's just May Rivers are almost daily. River Ridges, I'd say, are bi-weekly. You may have a problem there.
We're not looking to use this system for any of our new facilities, are we?
No, sir.
Awesome. Thank you.
Let me ask you a question if I may follow up. If May River is having it every week and River Ridge is having it every other week, is that enough to trigger?
May River's having it every day.
Oh, May River's every day and River Ridge is how often?
Bi-weekly, I'd say. Every 2 weeks, we have a problem. And that just require, and some of it can be done remotely, can be reset remotely. Some of them have to actually manually have somebody go over there, push a button and reset these systems, get them back on.
Should we consider replacing it with wire?
At River Ridge? We can, just of our priorities, HVAC priorities, I would say that's pretty low down the priority list of things for, somewhere close to $250,000-300,000.
If you get a little opening and you can, and it doesn't affect the rest of your schedule.
Yep. I would agree.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Well, we are transferring some excess funds to our operations budget, right?
Yes, you do have, yes.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
No, that was not an interruption. That was good touch up.
So the next item has to do with ABM, our maintenance contractor. We did issue them, and y'all were aware the previous month of issuing them a notice to cure. It ended and we extended it. We said for the most part, they had not satisfied the notice to cure because the air conditioning units that were listed there that need to be repaired had not been repaired. And that extension of the notice to cure also said that any XX expenses that we have, that they will be charged those expenses. So we have brought in 2 outside contractors that are addressing some of the HVAC issues, and any costs from those repairs are being charged to ABM. Any questions on that?
Glad to hear.
All right. The next one, of course, is the second highest are plumbing work orders which were 7%, with a total of 47, with CUSA having the highest of 21, which is just under 80% of their work orders. And you'll see there that In Coosa, there's a whole gamut of plumbing issues from sink repairs, water fountains, filter changes, toilet handle and faucet replacements, and leaks, including line clearings. Whole gamut of those.
Now, this is where the kids' behaviors is negatively impacting it and overloading.
I have not heard that about Coosa, to be honest. It's not typically elementary schools where that's a problem. It's more a problem in middle and high schools. In elementary schools, if you have a problem, it's more about toilet, paper towels or things of that nature being, but I have not heard of that at Coosa, to be honest with you. I can look in that in greater detail if you like.
Just posing the question, the motivation.
Thank you, sir. All right, the next page, we're looking at the difference between north of Broad and south of Broad work orders. Again, you'll see there at the top graph in green, those completed compared to requested. Number completed are not keeping up with the number being requested right now. You'll see down below the work order status as far as being completed or closed or still a work in progress. You'll see there that almost 44% are works in progress. A lot of examples of that. Air conditioning, if you're ordering parts, it would still be in progress until it has been completed. There at the bottom, the average days to complete work order is dropping, so that's a good thing. And then, of course, the percentage of the work orders that are being done. This is a good thing to see. 91% of them are being done within 2 weeks. Any questions there?
Ms. Gordon?
No,
Mr. Hay?
No, thank you.
Yeah.
doing lesson plans.
Do y'all have, work orders for air conditioning? If you cannot get them to do it, can you have, local people to come in and help?
Yes, sir. That's what I was talking about with the notice secured. We actually have 2 local contractors right now that we've hired. One is Low Country Air out of Beaufort and the other is Mock Mechanical, which is out of Savannah, actually. And so, as needed, we are bringing them in to repair systems if ABM's not able to.
How did you get that?
History, just history with them, both those contractors. The next page, same stats for South of Broad. Of course, we have 2, we're divided into 2 groups, one north and one south. Some similar things, again, they're not completing as many work orders as currently being requested. On the second, their work orders in progress are just under 40% for the South Broad group. And, one, at least for north of Broad, they actually improved, but they improved from the average days to complete a work order from 6.99 to 6.61. South of Broad actually got a little worse, 5.42 to 6.36. But you'll see there where they are right now, total numbers of days, still they're close, one 6.61, the other 6.36. So even though they did not improve, they're still actually performing a little better than North of Broad.
But what caused the increase?
Well, it's that switch from summer work to regular school work. It's not surprising what we see north of Broad, because during summer work, you may do more projects. So those projects may be bigger maintenance items that take longer to do. And that backs it up. I don't know that, it would be, if you'll notice, South of Broad is actually behind in more work orders. I actually don't know the difference. Why there's a slight increase there compared to a decrease from north of Broad, but it's basically that transitioning out of summer work to people being in the buildings.
Can you get, because I would think it'd be somewhat similar in both areas.
And you'll see in the end where they land is similar.
But the increase,
Right.
yeah, so if you can sort of just build and dive into that a little bit. That's the, why they increase and the other. We have a-
All right, the next page, these are some examples of some of the projects. Just kind of let you look at that on your own time. Everything from toilet partition repairs to gym equipment assembly, pothole repairs and sinkholes. And also the last page. I'll say, you know, for me, this is probably the most concerning item there. You see that we have 87%, almost 88% of our positions filled, but we currently have 8 openings. That number is not going down. It actually appears to be going up, which is a concern. And as you heard me say, our 2 highest work order areas are HVAC and plumbing. And our 2 areas with the highest number of openings are HVAC and plumbing. So basically that's a problem for maintenance right now. Having those lacking in HVAC technicians is one of the main reasons we're having to bring in outside companies to supplement the work. And they have at least one outside company for plumbing. I know you're gonna ask, and all of a sudden I can't think of who that is. But there is at least one outside plumbing company that can supplement them as well. The other item there, they did fill the, did we tell you all this stuff? The maintenance director position, Bobby Lupke is now the maintenance director. Was that announced last
That
time?
name doesn't ring a bell.
Right, so that he was the acting director. He is now the permanent director.
What was that name again?
Bobby Lupke. He's been around for over 15 years. He's a real go-getter, so we're pleased that he is now the maintenance director and expect big things out of him because they have some things they need to turn around. Recognizing success on the bottom, I'll just recognize one of the items there, or just call to your attention. Just they did some work to replace lights and ballasts at Well Branch Early College High School, in the main and auxiliary gym, and Buford and Ladies Island Middle School gyms to make sure all the white lights in the gyms were working prior to being used for school. Any questions?
I don't know.
Yes.
When I went out to a meeting last night at Well Branch Middle School, and went to the wrong place, Well Branch High School. And I was trying to use my phone, and the 2 pleasant ladies said the phone doesn't work.
No, yes.
Why, how,
No tower.
No
reception.
towers. No towers.
no one has a tower?
No.
No, and we actually have land on Well Branch Early College High School that we had been in talks with a tower company in the past about putting a tower there, and it ended up, they had a lease agreement for some time and it fell through and they didn't build there. I've personally had some conversations with a tower consultant recently, and just with this, it was before the start of school. I think we talked a couple weeks ago, and I just kind of told him, well, I need to get school started. Maybe here in a month we'll talk to him again. And one of the things we're going to talk to him about is locations that we have available that we could put towers on our site, and the prime spots that we're thinking is Well Branch Early College High School, May River High School. Those 2 have land where it can be done. We have terrible reception at those 2 locations.
The state of South Carolina has created a broadband expansion unit to help push that and identify areas. That may be worthwhile.
That's different than cellular service.
But they're pushing, let me say, connectivity. So it's a little bit more than I say. And I know in our POA, we had some problem with connectivity. And we were able to work with it wasn't one of the majors. it was a group that builds towers, sort of like this.
Yeah.
And of course, we have like 10,000 people in our community, so it's a lot of people. So it economically works right there. But if we can find maybe with Ms. Lynn Stokes Murray, who the person is, and that entity, then maybe reaching out to them might be worthwhile. Because the governor's really pushing. And boy, if we could get phone service there, that'd be tremendous.
Yeah, I do have to say, the consulting group, and I can't think of their name right now off the top of my head. They do work with a lot of school districts, and I think once we get them started, I hope we can be successful in bringing a tower to both those two locations.
The governor's looking for a political win. Let me rephrase that. The government is looking for a political win. And so if this is like a challenging situation, if that gentleman is not been needed by him. But I'm sure Ms. Lynn Stokes Murray.
Yes, keep that in mind.
Okay.
But if you cannot, if you can't put it on the, if they disagree for putting it on the school property, then it's gonna be, they're gonna have to go outside the school property. And it's not gonna work, because community don't want towers in certain areas out there. For broadband, we're working with a guy that's working with Mark right now, trying to get some grants. So he should have something, I'll say by the end of the year.
If you'll reach out to just find out who the key person, because the governor has redirected millions of dollars to this. And that certainly seems like one that would fit.
That concludes my custodial and maintenance update.
We will tell Ms. Major she did a great job.
I'm sure she would have done better.
All right,
Now you can talk to us.
okay. Is this our executive session?
Yeah, we need a motion to go into executive session.
Ms. Gordon or Mr. Nay, a motion for moving into executive session, please? So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Aye.
Session.
Hold on a second, we have to stop.
Welcome.